There is a bedroom on the island of Madeira, Portugal, where a boy grew up sharing space with 3 siblings in a house so small that 4 children sleeping together was not poverty, it was just the room. That boy is now the most followed individual human being on Instagram. He has scored more international goals than any player in the history of football. He has won 5 Ballon d'Or awards. He has earned, across his career, somewhere north of $1 billion. He has a museum dedicated to himself on the island where he grew up with nothing. None of this was given to him. None of it was inherited or connected or lucky. What Cristiano Ronaldo built, he built through a quality of obsessive, relentless, sometimes maddening work that his teammates, his coaches, and his opponents have described in nearly identical terms across 30 years. They have never seen anything like it. This is what that career looks like from the inside. Every stage, every rank, every moment between the struggling island kid and the global icon. Rank 1. The Island Kid Madeira. Portugal 1985 to 2001. You are born on February 5th, 1985, in Funchal, on the island of Madeira. You are the 4th child of José Dini Severo, a kitman for the local football club who drinks too much, and Maria Dolores dos Santos, a cook and cleaning woman who works every hour available to her. The family is not poor in the way the word is used loosely. The family is poor in the way that means your mother considered terminating this pregnancy because she could not see how they would feed another child. A doctor refused to perform the procedure. You were born. Football is everywhere on Madeira the way it is everywhere in Portugal, in the streets, on any flat surface, in the way boys talk and the language they use to measure themselves against each other. You are not immediately the best player on your street. You are determined to be. At 8 years old, you join Andorinha, the local club where your father works. The coaches notice something almost immediately, not the skill, which is raw, but the attitude. The boy who stays after training. The boy who comes early. The boy who asks to practice the specific thing he just did wrong again until he does it right. At 10, you move to Nacional. At 12, Sporting CP, one of Portugal's 3 great clubs, brings you to Lisbon for a trial. You leave Madeira for the first time. You are 12 years old, you are going to a city you have never seen, and you are going alone. Your mother tells the story of the goodbye at the airport. She says you both cried. She says you turned back 3 times. She says she had to tell you to go. The boy who left that airport would return to Madeira for the rest of his life. But he never lived there again. Something closed that day, and something else opened, and the 2 things were the same door. At Sporting's Academy, the Academia Sporting in Alcochete, you are the skinny kid from the island with the thick Madeiran accent that the Lisbon boys mock. You cry in your dormitory room at night. You call your mother. And then, in the morning, you train harder than anyone around you. This is the pattern. It will not change for 30 years. Rank 2. The Sporting CP years Lisbon, Portugal 2001 to 2003. At 16, you make your first team debut for Sporting CP. This is already exceptional. The academy players who reach the first team are a fraction of those who arrive. And most of those who arrive were already the best players in their regions. You wear the number 28. You play with a freedom and a flair that the Portuguese football press immediately notices: the step-overs, the acceleration, the willingness to attempt things that more cautious players would not. You are also inconsistent, which is what 17 looks like. The talent is undeniable. The finishing is unreliable. The ego is already present and will require managing. The moment that changes your life arrives on August 6, 2003. Sporting CP play a pre-season friendly against Manchester United, the English champions, one of the wealthiest and most famous clubs in the world. In the first half, you do something to Manchester United's right back that causes the United players to ask their own manager at halftime to sign you. The Manchester United players asking Sir Alex Ferguson to sign the opponent they are currently playing against is not a common occurrence. It is, in fact, essentially unprecedented. Ferguson signs you for £15 million 3 weeks later. You are 18 years old. You are going to England. Rank 3. Manchester United, the becoming Manchester. England 2003 to 2009, you are handed the number 7 shirt at Manchester United. The number that George Best wore. The number that Eric Cantona wore. The number that David Beckham wore. You are 18 and you do not yet know if you are worthy of it. Sir Alex Ferguson knows something you do not yet know about yourself, which is why he gave it to you. The first 2 seasons are brilliant and infuriating in equal measure. You are the most exciting winger in the Premier League. You are also the most maddening. The stepovers that work 70% of the time fail 30% of the time in ways that cost goals, cost matches, cost patience. English football crowds are not patient with flair that does not produce results. Old Trafford gives you room to grow. Some other grounds do not. The 2006 World Cup is a turning point that almost destroys you in England. Portugal play England in the quarterfinals. Your United teammate Wayne Rooney is sent off. You wink at the Portugal bench after the red card. It is captured on camera and replayed hundreds of times. In England, you become, briefly, the most hated man in football. You consider leaving. You tell Ferguson you want to go. Ferguson tells you, in terms that are reportedly not gentle, that you are staying. You stay. And then something happens in the following season that no amount of media hostility could produce. You become, unmistakably and inarguably, the best player in the world. The 2007-08 season is the one. 42 goals in all competitions. The Premier League title. The Champions League. Won at penalty shootout against Chelsea in Moscow. You miss your own penalty in the shootout, the lowest moment, and then Edwin van der Sar saves the decisive kick, and you are the champion of Europe. The Ballon d'Or that December is not a surprise. It is an acknowledgement of what everyone already knows. Ferguson has made you. You know it. You will say it for the rest of your career. Sir Alex is the father figure you needed. The manager who believed in you before you believed in yourself. The man who gave you the time and the environment to become what you were capable of becoming. When you leave, it will be the hardest professional decision of your life. Real Madrid offer £80 million. The world record transfer fee. You are 24 years old, and the best player alive and the biggest club in the world is offering you the stage and the salary that matches what you believe yourself to be worth. You go, rank 4, Real Madrid, the peak Madrid. Spain 2009 to 2018, you arrive in Madrid as the most expensive player in the history of football, and you are immediately, visibly, determined to be worth every euro of it. The Real Madrid years are the peak of the mountain, 9 years, 4 Champions League titles, 4 Ballon d'Or awards at the club, 450 goals in 438 appearances. A scoring rate that has no historical precedent at the highest level of the sport. The numbers are not records that can be gently contextualized. They are departures from what was previously understood to be possible. The physical transformation that happens at Real Madrid is one of the most discussed aspects of your career, and for good reason. You arrive as an elite athlete. You become something that causes sports scientists to request permission to study you. Your body fat percentage at peak is measured below 5%. Your resting heart rate is that of an endurance athlete. Your vertical leap is that of a basketball player. None of this is accidental. The stories from training ground staff about your diet, your sleep, your recovery protocols, the ice baths at precise temperatures, the multiple sleep cycles, the refusal to drink alcohol since early in your career, paint a picture of someone who treats the body as a machine to be optimized with the same precision and obsession that others might apply to a craft or a science. The rivalry with Lionel Messi defines this era in a way that neither man entirely chose but both inhabit completely. Messi at Barcelona, you at Real Madrid. The Spanish League is, for most of these 9 years, a two-man argument conducted across 2 cities about who is the best player alive. The rest of the league watches. The rest of the world watches. The Champions League final of 2016 Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid in Milan. You score the decisive penalty in the shootout. You tear off your shirt. You flex. The image goes around the world. There is no ambiguity in the gesture. It is not celebration, it is declaration. This is what I am. Look at what I am. You are 31 years old and you want everyone to know that 31 is not the beginning of the end. The 2016-17 season is the argument settled, if it was ever going to be settled. You lead Real Madrid to a league title and a Champions League. In the final against Juventus, you scored twice, including a bicycle kick that produces a standing ovation from the opposition fans. Juventus supporters in Cardiff standing to applaud a goal scored against their team, because what they just saw demanded acknowledgement beyond partisanship. 12 days after that final, you are convicted in a Spanish court of tax fraud and fined 18 million euros. You pay the fine. You do not go to prison. You do not discuss it at length. You return to training. The complexity of the man is real. The genius and the pettiness and the extraordinary talent and the capacity for behavior that does not match the legend coexist and always have, and pretending otherwise would not be honest. You leave Real Madrid in 2018 for Juventus. The club does not fully understand at the time why you are leaving. You are the greatest scorer in Real Madrid's history. You have won 4 Champions Leagues. You are 33 years old and you are not finished. Rank 5, Juventus and return Turin. Italy 2018 to 2021/Manchester. England 2021 to 2022. Juventus sign you for 100 million euros. You are 33. The Italian press is divided, the believers and the skeptics arguing about whether a player of your age can maintain this level in a new league, a new country, a new tactical system. You answer the question in the way you always answer questions, with goals. 31 in Serie A in your first season, 21 in the second through a pandemic season of empty stadiums and disrupted schedules. The Champions League remains elusive, the reason you came. The trophy that would have been the 6th and Juventus are eliminated at the quarterfinal stage both years you are there. By the 3rd season, the relationship is complicated in the way that relationships between aging legends and ambitious clubs always become complicated. The return to Manchester United in August 2021 produces one of the most extraordinary receptions in Premier League history. You score twice on your second debut against Newcastle. Old Trafford has the noise of a cup final. You are 36 years old, and for 45 minutes, you look like you are 26. The second season at United is the honest reckoning. The club is in transition, the management changes, the performances are inconsistent, and you are openly unhappy in a way that leaks into the press. In November 2022, you give an interview to Piers Morgan that is, depending on your perspective, a legitimate airing of grievances or a spectacular act of self-destruction. You criticize the club. You criticize the manager. You announce, effectively, that you are leaving. United terminate your contract by mutual consent. You are a free agent at 37 years old, in the middle of a World Cup. No European top 5 club signs you. The question that no one asks aloud but everyone is thinking is whether this is the beginning of the end, whether the era of Cristiano Ronaldo competing at the highest level of European club football is over. Rank 6. Al-Nassr AN, the new chapter Riyadh. Saudi Arabia 2023 to present. In January 2023, you signed for Al-Nassr of the Saudi Pro League. The contract is reported to be the most lucrative in the history of professional sport figures, around 200 million euros per year when commercial agreements are included. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is reshaping global sport with sovereign wealth, and you are the first name on the list of people they want. The reaction divides opinion. Some frame it as retirement with extra steps, the twilight posting of a career too proud to end in Europe. Others point to what you actually do on the pitch. You score 35 goals in your first season. You are adapting to a less physically demanding league than the Premier League or La Liga, but the goal-scoring instinct, the quality in front of goal, the set-piece ability, these are not in decline. The broader significance of your move extends beyond your career. The Saudi Pro League's investment in global football talent, Neymar, Benzema, Firmino, Conte, and dozens of others following your arrival represents a structural shift in the geography of football wealth. You did not cause this shift. You were its most visible early signal. Rank 7. The legacy, what it all adds up to 26 years of professional football. 7 league titles across 4 different countries. 5 Champions League titles. 5 Ballon d'Or awards. Over 900 career goals. A net worth estimated above $1.5 billion. The most followed person in social media history. The numbers are real. They are also the wrong way to understand what Cristiano Ronaldo's career means. What the career means is a story about what hunger, real hunger, not metaphorical hunger, produces when it is channeled into a single talent across a lifetime of relentless work. The boy who cried in his dormitory room in Lisbon. The teenager who got mocked for his accent. The young man who watched his father drink himself to death in 2005 while he was playing in Manchester. The player who failed his penalty in the biggest match of his life and had to stand there while his teammates won the trophy without him. All of that is in the trophies. His fiercest critics would say he is vain. They are right. He is. He would not deny it and does not. What his critics sometimes miss is that the vanity and the excellence are not separate things, they are the same thing expressed in 2 registers. The obsessive self-belief that makes him insufferable to some of the people who have worked with him is the same quality that made him spend extra hours in the gym when the training day was officially over. You cannot separate them. You take both or neither. Sir Alex Ferguson said of him, "He is the greatest player I have ever managed. I have no doubt about that." Zinedine Zidane, who managed him at Real Madrid, said, "He is a phenomenon, an alien. He makes the impossible seem normal." The boy from Madeira made it. He made it further than anyone from where he came from had ever made it. And he made it in the specific way that he made it by outworking, outbelieving, and outwanting everyone else in the room for 30 years. Not because he was the most naturally gifted player of his generation. Because he was the most unwilling to be anything less than the best. That is the career. That is what every rank of it adds up to. A life as a monument to what refusal looks like when it lasts long enough.